Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So I'm having an urgent stream, okay? Urgent stream for you guys because I want you guys to stay focused and do not miss out on this tremendous bull run that we're in. And this bull run is going to carry Bitcoin a lot higher. So this is definitely urgent. This is definitely important. You guys all need to watch this and pay attention. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, guys. Welcome. You know what? I don't know. Like yesterday, I wasn't feeling it with the comments, and I don't feel like I need to explain further, but I feel like a lot of people caught my headline or my title from last night and didn't even watch the video. So let me start out with that. Bitcoin right now, you can see it took a little dip, 56,163. But of course, last night, those of you guys that caught it, right? I've talked about how I sold off some of my winners in terms of altcoins just to rebalance my portfolio so that I have 50% in Bitcoin, because I do believe we could be seeing resurgence of Bitcoin dominance just like we did in 2017. It wasn't a video where I said I sold all my altcoins or most of my altcoins. In fact, I still have 50% of my portfolio in altcoins. But so many people are chiming in saying, I don't know, what are you doing? You're selling at bottom and this and that. I feel like a lot of people just didn't even watch the video, didn't realize that I was simply rebalancing my portfolio to make sure that I'm following the rule that I've been telling you guys about, the 50-25-25 rule, because I think having 50% in Bitcoin is definitely going to be advantageous going forward with this bull run, especially if Bitcoin is going to go where I think it will go. You definitely don't want to miss it. And if it does get that high, right, Bitcoin dominance will continue higher and will suck out the liquidity. It has in past cycles, and it could this cycle. That's why you have to prepare for it. You have to minimize risk, right? Minimize risk, maximize gains. That is what it's all about. All right, so there you go. I just want to clarify. I guess last night's stream, all these comments, people just didn't even watch it, thinking that I sold all the altcoins. No, that's not the case at all. But you know what? People will some people will never learn, will always, look at things half glass empty, or make rash decisions, or just simply spread FUD because they're miserable. I mean, there's always going to be people like that. But I know you guys are watching me daily. All the Georges out there are not like that, are not making the same mistakes. All right, so let's move on. John Super Chat says, what will you do when the U.S. SEC declares war on crypto in the coming weeks? Nothing, absolutely nothing, because they're not going to declare war on crypto. They are simply going to go after people they feel like are securities, and that is it. That is it. There's no war coming. Okay, it's as simple as that. Don't try to overblow the situation. And and we got more people that's shilling Tiger King coin. All right, so Bitcoin took a little breather today. 56,000, not back up to 57 or not back up to 58. This morning was just like, twittering around 57, right? I did say that I think this week we'll hit 60,000, right? As early as today. That could still happen. Things can move very, very quickly. And looking at live coin watch, Bitcoin down about 2%. So Ethereum and Cardano and XRP and Solana and Polkadot and Doge, Shiba, Luna, pretty much everything is down today, right? A little bit down. The thing is, Bitcoin dominance seems like it has continued upwards. And I've told you guys, this could be the same thing as 2017, where all the strength starts getting into Bitcoin because it's the last 3 months of the 4-year cycle and the last 3 months of this year, right? In Q4, and that's traditionally the most bullish months for Bitcoin. So we could see that go up in a big way. Now, why is all the strength in Bitcoin right now, you may be asking? Well, there's just so many reasons why you don't want to be sitting on the sidelines, why you want to be in this bull run. And I've been telling you guys that there was some speculation about how 64,000 was the top and how we're going to go back down to 10,000, how the bull run is over and this and that. None of that is true. You got to pay attention to what's going on behind the scenes. You got to pay attention to fundamentals, and if you focus on those things, you'll realize that this is just a beginning. Just the beginning at $50-something thousand. Nick says the government would wage war behind the scenes. You could take it to the bank. I don't know about that. They're going to do what they can. But we know Bitcoin and crypto is unstoppable. And here's the thing. Many Congress members are now crypto holders. So when you have Congress members be part of the group, it's hard to really to convince them otherwise. So we have some allies, right? Like Senator Loomis herself, she bought about 100,000 worth of Bitcoin. So we have allies now. We have allies, and again, it's not one of those things that should be holding you back, because there's always going to be fear of something. Okay? And if you're always fearing that something may come, well, then you're just going to sit on the sidelines and miss out on everything. I mean, that's quite honestly the truth. All right. So with that said, why is Bitcoin so bullish? Why am I so bullish? Got a lot of good stuff to show you guys today. Long-term holders are increasing and stacking sats like crazy. In fact, according to Glassnode, long-term holders are stacking sats 13 times faster at this current point than new coins coming out. So think about that. Long-term holders are buying 13 times the amount of Bitcoins being mined per day, and there's about 900 per day. This is just from long-term holders, okay? This is not counting the new people that's coming in. Retail investors, fresh blood. Same thing with companies and institutions. Doesn't take into account. This is just long-term holders. It's already at 13x. So think about it. There's a supply shock. There's a limited supply, and you just look at it, right? Supply and demand. Why does something go up in price? Well, the demand outstrips the supply. And that's exactly what's happening right now and will continue to happen, because we know Bitcoin has a limited supply. The set inflation rate decreases every 4 years, and there's just not enough to go around. Every millionaire out there in the world can't even buy one Bitcoin. Think about it. So that's why I told you guys, even having one coin, becoming a one coiner or one Bitcoiner is such an achievement. It's really a big achievement, and I think most of you guys in this space should try to achieve that. Nowadays, it's hard. You have to plop down 56,000 approximately to buy one Bitcoin. Back a year ago, much cheaper at 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, right? But as we go forward, it's going to get harder and harder. It's going to take 75,000, 100,000, 200,000 to buy one Bitcoin. And everyone's going to be fighting for it. And you don't want to be caught on the sidelines because you're fearful of what may come. Because while you're waiting, everyone else is getting rich. That's exactly what's happening. Supply shock also that relates to reserves drops to the lowest level since October in 2017. Hint, hint. What happened in October 2017, not October 17. What happened in October 2017? Well, it was the month right before Bitcoin went on an astronomical run. So is this a coincidence that the reserves of Bitcoin dropped to its lowest level since the last tremendous exponential blow off top event, right? I don't think it's a coincidence. This is all setting up to something that's going to be enormous, something that we've seen before, and that is a huge rise in Bitcoin huge amount of FOMO, huge amount of buying, and this is why you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. And then there's other things. For example, this Bitcoin futures have increased 45% since September low, meaning that institutions, they're all FOMOing in now. They're trying to get in as much as they can, even though they may not be buying real Bitcoin or are allowed to buy Bitcoin, or they don't want to deal with Bitcoin accounting practice right now with public trade companies. But still, they all know what's coming. Bitcoin is going higher, which is why they're increasing their exposure to Bitcoin as much as they can. 45% increase since September. That is a tremendous amount of growth within one single month. Yeah. Take that to the bank. And also, take a look at this. Of course, TechDev, I would say he's probably the best at detecting fractal patterns between our current run and previous runs. And he has extended this out a little bit, going all the way back to the very, very first run in 2011, right? And he's looking at RSI and basically the top and the bottom. And as you can see, this is a pretty good long-term macro view of Bitcoin's top and bottom correlated to certain RSI levels. And you can see the RSI levels are decreasing. It's a decreasing trend line, but still, every single top that Bitcoin has ever made correlates with this so far, and all the bottoms too. You can see what happened in 2013. We had two tops. We had one major one, Bitcoin came back down, and another one, a double top basically. 2017, we didn't have a double top. But you could see the bottom of 2013, bottom of 2017, how the RSI, right, hit the bottom of that channel, the trend line. And you could see in 2021, we did have that one top. We came back down, and now we are preparing for the second top, very similar to 2013. And if this holds true, if this continues forward, and then we do continue on, that red circle right there, let's go put Bitcoin somewhere between 100,000 to 200 and no, I take that back. If you read that, it actually says $80,000 to $300,000. So Bitcoin will end up anywhere between $80,000 and $300,000. My bet is that it's going to be probably around 125,000, 150,000. I think after 100,000, anything goes. I think there's going to be a crazy FOMO. There's going to be a lot of people coming in. But hey, if history repeats or tends to rhyme, if history rhymes, we will see a tremendous movement, just like all previous cycles before it. And this cycle is different. Why is it different? Because we have a lot more. We have a lot more money flowing in. We have a lot more adoption. We have a lot more attention. No one now can say Bitcoin is a fad. It's not here to stay. It's a Ponzi. It's like the Tulip 2.0. No one is saying that anymore. At this point, how can you deny that Bitcoin is here to stay and it's transforming the world, the biggest monetary network out there that's controlled by no one? No country controls it. It has a set supply rate. It has a set inflation rate, right? A decreasing inflation rate. And there's no other monetary network out there or digital currency or currency out there that have these properties. And let's not forget all the properties that blockchain brings as well. So, I mean, at this point, you can't stop Bitcoin. It's a unstoppable object at this point. It's a moving train that has gained momentum and won't be stopped. So this is why you do not want to miss out. You do not want to miss out, especially this next 3 months. And we could continue into 2022. We could have, another 3 months in 2022 so that the blow off top may not occur in 2021. It may occur in 2022, or we have an event where we don't have a blow off top. We just have simple corrections. And we just continue on going into 2024 until we have the next halving event. That could be on the table as well. But regardless, you just don't want to be sitting on the sidelines. That's the main thing here. Main thing. All right. Let me make sure. I've said a lot. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Someone asked, what happened to Solana? I read negative chats and news about it on their channel. Are we missing something? On whose channel? There's no negative chats from their channel, John. That doesn't even make any sense. Nothing happened to Solana. It's just taking a breather. And right now, with Bitcoin dominance going up and all the momentum in Bitcoin, that's why it's a little bit weaker as well. But nothing happened with it. In fact, something very bullish happened. FTX's NFT marketplace launch. And it's only taking Solana's NFTs. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. John, again, I feel like all your super chats are like meant to spread FUD. Or you really just don't get it. But the second one you sent, that's like spreading a lot of FUD out there. You think I should buy the dip today for BTC-IO? I want to buy another half. So you own half, you want to buy another half, right? I would say you spread out your buys. You DCA into it, right? Because right now Bitcoin is, coming down a little bit, 56,000. Can it come down a little more to back to 55? Sure it can. So I would say spread out your buy. You want to get that other half. It's okay. Spread out 5 ways, 4 ways. Maybe pick up a little today and then pick up, a little next week and a week after that. Just spread out your buys, right? There's no, that's why there's no rush, I should say. You're limiting you're minimizing your risk, okay? But congratulations, if you get to that whole coin, you become a whole coiner. That's a pretty good accomplishment. I have no idea some park what that coin is. Johnny Dang the Jeweler, as if I should know that name, has a coin that connects to diamonds and jewelry certificates. I would stay far away from that. Far away from that. Mark, the donut guy in Vancouver, appreciate that. And will there be another altcoin season? And is SHIB still a good buy? Yes. Right now, for those of you guys that's been in since January, we have been in altcoin season since January. Okay? Like literally since January till now, altcoins have been on fire. It's only been like a week or two where altcoins kind of stalled, and now Bitcoin is starting to come up. So again, it's early. It's early. But I do think we're gonna have altcoin season. Especially if we have that blow off top event for Bitcoin, which could be in December or it could be in like February of 2022. Right afterwards, I think we'll have a big altcoin season again, where money flows out of Bitcoin, goes into them. Right? It will come. It will come. It's not like this is the end of altcoins or death of altcoins, like some maxis will try to pretend it is, but it's not. So there you go. Silas, appreciate it. Solver Films, every time I watch your live streams, I throw more money into the market. Hey, I have that effect. Love from India. Thank you. Thank you. In fact, I'm going to follow that too, because I feel like right now, I don't want to miss out. Yesterday, I told you guys I did rebalance my portfolio. I want to make sure that I have 50% of my portfolio in Bitcoin, which I'm very, very close to. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm very close. However, if we do, from this point on out, if we do have any kind of major correction with Bitcoin, and when I mean major, I mean at this point in time, we don't even have really any major ones anymore. But if we have a good 5-10% correction from now on with Bitcoin going forward, I'm going to be picking up. I'm going to be picking up more and more and more, because I want to accumulate as much Bitcoin as I can before this cycle really starts moving, before Bitcoin really starts moving. Because, man, every time you look back, a few weeks ago, a few months ago, a few years ago, there's always points in time where you're like, I don't know if I should get in Bitcoin. It's too high, right? I don't know if I should get in Bitcoin at 20,000. We're near top. I don't know if we should get it at 30,000. What if it falls down from here? I don't know if we should get it in 40,000. It's too high, right? Throughout Bitcoin's history, that's always been the theme. Is Bitcoin too high? And the answer is no. I just saw a comment yesterday from someone's like, I think Bitcoin is too high right now. I'm like, versus what? Versus its previous 64,000? No. Versus what? Versus where it'll be in 2 years? No. So, I mean, that's the theme, right? Bitcoin always seems high until you look back and realize it just continues. Continues going higher. All right. So there's a few other pieces of news. I got distracted by super chats. That's okay. Bit Digital agrees to buy 10,000 ant miners. Okay, no duh. Every single mining company out there is trying to stack sats right now. And the miners, the best way to do it is to buy more miners and keep buying more miners. And they're starting to borrow against their own Bitcoin to buy more miners. It's a race. It's a Cold War race to be the top dog, right? To be the biggest Bitcoin mining farm out there. Everyone wants as many Bitcoins as they can right now. Right now. What else is there? Well, according to Eric, SEC has a few days left to delay Bitcoin futures ETF. If we hear nothing, then the very first one, ProShares, will be free to launch in roughly 6 days. So is SEC just go let this go, right? And say, hey, it's going, we're just going to let it go and let it be approved. And guess what? If that happens, look at the avalanche of ETFs that's about to come out. ProShares, Valkyrie, Invesco, Van Eyck, Galaxy, Advisor Shares, Bitwise, and BlockFi. That's a whole lot of ETFs, okay? Think about how much liquidity is about to enter the market if these all pass. And even if they don't all pass, even just 1 or 2 or 3, right? It's going to be tremendous, tremendous. Many people have speculated that we will get this in October. Maybe it takes a few weeks to get started, but hey, then we're entering November and December. It's gonna be tremendous. What else is there? You were like that lamp in the dark when the market crashed. You made me whole. Much love, Himalayas. Casimir, appreciate that, and I'm glad I did help you. Silas, that's great advice. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Love your show. Why is Engine Mana stuck in reverse or neutral in spite of surging NFT popularity? That's a good question. I think people don't realize that they're in NFTs. And I think NFTs right now, what's hot is the collections, like the 10,000 collection of something, right? Engine and Mana is not really like that. Mana is a whole metaverse of NFT stuff. Same thing with Engine, and Engine also supports many other things that relate to NFT. I think the consumers, the retail investors, is not really paying attention. I think that's what it is. I'm actually quite surprised both have not moved. Yeah. John, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I said you're a FUD spreader. But your questions were very funny, though. You got to admit, they were very funny. But I appreciate you sticking around and your super chats. All right, moving on. Hey, those of you guys that are Litecoin fans, if you love Litecoin and you believe it's going to come up, well, look at this. Litecoin just made an all-time low on Binance versus Bitcoin Bear. This is why I tell you guys, don't hold Litecoin. Litecoin is garbage. I'd much rather buy SHIB than Litecoin. And actually, SHIB's market cap is above Litecoin now. Yeah, so this is what's happening with Litecoin because no one cares about it, and it's not better than Bitcoin. It's not better than anything. So, unfortunately, if you're a Litecoin holder, this is what you had to experience over the last few years. So, if you're holding Litecoin, you should really think about going Bitcoin. All right, what else is there? Cardano. Cardano now can get Apple developers. Blockfrost Swift 5 SDK has been released. I don't know what this means exactly, but I do know that Apple developers now can develop on top of Cardano, which is really, really good. This is what we want. We want more people in the space, right? More people in this space, and who knows, maybe Apple and Cardano can form something, and that'll be tremendous going forward. Avalanche, because of their Avalanche Rush, not Ranch. I love Ranch though. Because of Avalanche Rush, they now have a ton of DeFi projects, 8.3 billion in total value locked, 300,000 Avalanche fees burned, and over 1,000 validators, and they're growing. I think Avalanche is definitely a promising layer 1 network protocols that will do well in the future. What else? What about VeChain? VeChain announcing a big upgrade to the Proof Authority 2.0, which will actually basically improve how their consensus handles transactions and makes things faster and more efficient. So they're trying to get people to vote, right? And I think you definitely want to vote. Well, anytime VeChain can upgrade, you definitely want them to upgrade. So those of you guys that are VeChain fans, check out this poll and make sure you vote and make sure you get this to be approved. And then last two things. Binance. Binance is never out. They put $100 million into their war chest to entice DeFi projects to come in. That's not enough. They're going to put in another $1 billion to entice DeFi projects and NFT projects to come aboard. That is a tremendous amount. Tremendous amount. We have heard of like 300 million from like Harmony or Phantom or Avalanche and all these players. Solana. Now Binance like, that's chump change. We're going to put a $1 billion into our ecosystem. So we know that Binance BNB has been a little bit weak as of late, but CZ is serious about bringing more dApps to Binance Smart Chain. And that's the reason why Binance is up today. One of the sole winners of today, up 4% because of this. So don't discount Binance. They're not going to go away anytime soon. And for those of you guys that are Sheep fans, this is pretty encouraging. Top 10 mentions on Twitter in the last hour. Number 1, of course, you have BTC. Number 2, you have Sheep. And number 3, you have Ethereum. And then I don't know what this Valas is. Probably some pump group is doing that. Then you have Solana, Axie Infinity, Cardano, Dogecoin, Terra, and Chainlink. So Sheep is actually number 2 most mentioned crypto on Twitter, whatever that's worth. Okay, just to throw that out there. Even above Ethereum, man. And I think that makes sense because these days no one is really talking about Ethereum. I don't really hear anyone. I think everyone just discounted Ethereum, said, you know, I'm going to go with something smaller, something sexier, that's something that could scale, right? And that makes sense. But Ethereum is still a big dog. They're not going to go away anytime soon. And they still outperformed Bitcoin in the last 90 days. Barely, but they did. Barely, but they've been struggling. For the last 30 days, been really struggling versus BTC. But anyways, all right, guys, that's it. Let's do some Q&A. All right. Ben Cox asks, hey, George, love your show. Can you talk about Ramp DeFi? Building position in it. Would like to hear your opinion. I did cover Ramp before. Let me take a look at where they are now. 100 market cap. Yeah, I have covered before. Multi-chain DeFi lending platform that maximize capital efficiencies on your assets. So they're basically a cross-chain DeFi project that has a lot of, you know, usual DeFi stuff, right? Lending, yielding, and with this, you know, since they're cross-chain, they're in Polygon and Binance. I think this is a promising project, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. With DeFi projects, you really have to pay attention to the use case of the token itself. If the token is just like a governance token, it doesn't really entice people to buy and hold it, because a lot of these apps, okay, can be used without needing the native token. So in this case, I don't remember like for their single asset marketplaces. So like if you're utilizing this, right, just to earn yield, you could deposit cake and earn 43%, and you don't need Ramp to do that. Now, there's other liquidity pools you could provide with, right? Some are Ramp, most of them are not. So that's the thing. It could be a promising project, and it looks like it is. But if there's no use case for people to actually buy and hold Ramp, then normally it won't go up. So just keep that in mind, especially with DeFi projects. That's what it comes down to. Riot, HUD 8, or Marathon, they're all good, and they all move in tandem. Whenever Bitcoin has a good day, they tend to all pump around the same, and then whenever Bitcoin has a bad day, they go down the same. So they're all equal in my opinion. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. 50 a week into Bitcoin. Should I be buying more? Hey, that's a lot. That's $250 a month. For some of you guys, that's a lot, you know. But of course, if you can afford more, it just depends on your situation. Then of course you could put in more, right? Maybe $100 a week, or maybe $100 every 2 weeks, or $100, I don't know, $200 every 2 weeks, right? It just depends on your financial situation. Will VThor always follow VET? Can anything break this link? No, because the two are tied together. VThor gets distributed based on how many VET there are. So no, the link will never be broken. They're very closely tied to each other. How do people even cash out, you mean? Large amounts with low fees. Flip coins is stable, fees, stable. The thing is, if you're moving large amounts, those fees are not that big. The fees affect more like smaller amounts. Okay? So I don't know what you're talking about. Like, because even like Coinbase or Gemini, I think their fees like 3%. Okay? So it doesn't matter if you're cashing out large amounts or small amounts, it's 3%. And if you're trying to minimize 3%, you really can't, because they're like the fiat gateways out, right? Like with, if you're sticking with a financial app like Robinhood, I guess that would be free, but then you're very limited in terms of what you're buying and what you can hold. So, but if you're talking about like DEXs and stuff and converting between stable coins and transferring between exchanges, well, stick with ones that's off Ethereum, and they're all like near feeless. All right, scrolling down. Self-setter, should we get out of alt or just sit back and watch BTC? It depends. Like for me, I've always said, right, newcomers and everyone in the space should follow 50-25-25 rule. 50% Bitcoin, 25% in big caps, and 25% in mid and small caps. If you already have that, great. Even if you're like, a little bit off, right? And I will show you guys this with this custom portfolio I built. And, even with this, you can see Bitcoin's off from its 50%. And that's because the altcoins went up so much. And, when you have a really, 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 really hot altcoin season, sure, you can let it ride like that. But when you detect and you can sense trend changes, especially if you're watching the market like I am, when you can sense market changes or trend changes, well, it's not too late to make a change too. That's the thing. I think a lot of people in the space expect you to just like always keep the same thing and never rebalance or redistribute. It's okay to do that, especially if you're doing it for a good reason. So what I did was to basically, sold off some of my winners and made this as close to 50% as I can, because I think that's going to be vital going forward, especially if Bitcoin keeps pumping and dominance keeps going up, right? So it really just depends on how you're built. If you want to let it ride, you're like 10% Bitcoin or 0% Bitcoin, you're all in altcoins, you want to let it ride, sure. If we get into the next altcoin season, you're going to benefit from it. But when we're not in altcoin season, when we're in Bitcoin season, you're going to be suffering for it. So it just depends. It just depends on what your tolerance is. Angel for Truth. I used to laugh at Shiba holders. It has more use cases than most coins. I was a fool not buying earlier. I wouldn't say that. I think you're over exaggerating. It does not have more use cases than most coins, but it definitely has more use cases than most meme coins and more than Dogecoin, but it does not have more use cases than all the other layer ones out there. So Cosmos had a nice spike today against the market. News or random. I didn't see anything about Cosmos, but Cosmos is still undervalued in my opinion. I think out of all the layer ones, they're still very, very low. They haven't pumped up as much as the others, and I think they could. Theo asks, how does the government know how much you profit or lost? Well, they're they're relying on your information. You know, most of the exchanges in the U.S. now are sending reports to the IRS. I think they're mostly sending to it. So even if you don't report it, they're gonna know. But you have to have accurate records, and you have to provide them. Ben Simmons promoting Litecoin and Crocs now? Really? I did not hear that. I think you're just trolling. What about Dot's future in this coming bull run? They'll be good. I think when parachain auctions are held and you have a lot of parachains that have inner blockchain communication. No, that's Cosmos, but like interchain communication, right? I think that's gonna be a pretty big thing for them. So, Andy, I've been so busy with work. I'm back, George. Well, if you attain financial freedom with Bitcoin, you no longer have to work another day of your life, or you find something that you love, and then you never have to work another day in your life. Jones Fundamentalist asks, have you heard of Save Planet Earth? They have government contracts in all these places. Any input? No. I never heard of it, and that's a silly name. And no, I don't believe in any crypto that is trying to save the earth or that is donating to a charity. That's all secondary, and I don't even know if I trust those things. All these crypto were created to make the founders and everyone else holding it rich. That's the name of the game. They weren't created to save the earth. Leave Mania. Hey, I got an idea to show you guys. It has nothing to do with crypto or my car channel. You guys know I have 2 channels, CryptosRUs, obviously, otherwise you wouldn't be here, and Drivers Only, which I've been doing pretty well with it, and TikTok too. But I have this other idea for this channel with my friends and I. Since you guys love hearing about my life and my dad jokes and how I bitch and complain about stuff, I'm thinking about creating a channel called Dad Talk, where me and my friends, we're all in the same age group with kids and life and whatever, and we just talk about normal stuff. And we could talk about what we like, what we don't like, you know, complaints, why it sucks to be old and stuff like that in a channel. I think that would be interesting based on the feedback I've gotten from you guys before. But you guys tell me if that's a good idea. And I think that'll be pretty fun. I've been wanting to do something with my friends for quite some time, but wanted to gauge you guys and see if you guys will enjoy that kind of show. That won't be on this channel, obviously. It'll be on another channel. All right, guys. Boring. No one wants to talk old man talk. Well, you're listening to me now. It depends on how old you are. Porsche Taycan I haven't driven yet. I hear it looks good. I haven't driven it. I hear it drives better than a Model S, but the range and charging time and stations all lacks compared to Tesla. So there you go. All right, guys, I'll let you guys go. Overall, hopefully you guys caught this urgent stream. It's probably the most urgent one you'll ever hear in your lifetime. And that is, do not miss out on this bull run. We're already in it. We're about to get more bullish. We're about to go much higher. And you definitely want to be in the game. You don't want to be sitting on the sidelines worrying about what may come. Right? You get in. You make your money, then worry about the other things later. All right? So, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central